It's fall, and I wanted to get one last grill in. But what wine will I have with it? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's episode. This is all about rediscovering maybe an old wine that I haven't tried in a very long time, and it used to be one of my go-tos. Well, as you can tell, it's fall here in our backyard, and I wanted to have maybe one last, grill. So I'm going to do a very classic steakhouse dinner. So I'm going to do grilled porterhouse steaks, baked potato with lots of sour cream, butter and cheese, and then a nice salad with some blue cheese dressing. So very classic. Well, how about a good Napa Cab to go with that? Well, I got my Wine Spectator magazine last week. It's the November issue. And guess what was on the cover? One of my old favorite Napa Cabs. It's the Veeder Winery Cab. And this is one we used to go to all the time. Probably 10, 15 years ago. If it was a nice night and we wanted to have a nice dinner, I would grab this. I would just get this one, and that's what I had. And so the 2017 vintage was on the label of Wine Spectator because it's part of their, California Cab report. And the 2017 vintage year was pretty rough for California. They had wildfires and massive heat waves, and it was really stressful for the grapes. So the winemakers really had to be on their game in 2017. But overall, it still scored, like a 92 point for the whole vintage. And as you know, at this channel, we're not huge point followers, and I try to keep my wine recommendations for $50 and less. And I think that's why the Veeder is always one of my favorites. It was a little bit of a splurge. It was always around $35 to $40, and it's still around that $40 to $45 range. So right within what we want for our channel. And I want to share it with you because it's one that, as I was saying, it's one that I always used to go to, and my go-to Napa Cabs. I'll tell you what, I'd say for about the last 5 or 6 years, I would try it on and off, and I just wasn't that impressed with it. It didn't seem to have that magic that it used to have. And I think it was because the body had become a little thin. The alcohol was getting a little high and very prominent. And I just didn't find it to be, well balanced. What I always look for in a wine is that, the tannins are in good place, and it has nice acidity, it smells wonderful, and it goes well with my food. Those are some qualities that I look for in wines that I like. Well, pleasantly surprised. I just opened this maybe about an hour ago because I'm having it with dinner tonight, and it's just delicious. So maybe I'll just do another little sip while you watch. Beautiful color. This is just a lovely wine. Again, I'm going to try to save some so I can share it with my wife. But this is a very classic Napa Cab. It has some nice plum, and if you've ever heard someone say, black currant with Napa Cabs, that's what this one has. And what's sort of interesting, Veeder, of course, is a place in Napa Valley, and for this vintage and for this blend, their Napa blend, they'll use some grapes from the higher elevations in the mountains, and then they'll use some from the Napa Valley floor. And I think it's wonderful. It's going to be really nice to think that with that porterhouse steak. Not a problem whatsoever. I already tasted it, so I know it has a nice medium body. The acidity is quite nice. The aroma is beautiful. A little bit of leather, tobacco, again with that dark cherry, black currant, and plum. And the leathery part, which I do actually enjoy, is coming through, but has enough tannin and enough acidity that's going to go right through that steak. If you end up liking this one, and I hope you do, I was able to find this at my local grocery store, but Whole Foods carries it, Wine.com, and even Total Wine carries it, so you should be able to find it. It's just sort of approachable, and I think it's one you'd like. So if you try it, and you do like it, they do have one that's about $100 a bottle, and the grapes are only from Veeder. So it's sort of a nice splurge if you want to give it for yourself, or if you know someone who likes Napa Cabs, maybe that would be a nice gift, but this also is a great gift for yourself, like us. It's Sunday, it's the last night I'm going to grill, and I'll put my grill away for the winter. So I wanted a little bit of a splurge, and it's nice to find an old friend who's tasting really good in 2017, which of course was a very tough vintage for Napa Valley. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's say you can't find the Mount Veeder 2017 Napa Valley Cab. I have two alternatives that I think you'll like, and then one of both of them are my go-to wines for years now. So I'll put them in the description box, but quickly, the Louis Martini Napa Valley, about $40. So they're all in the same price range. I wanted to find some other ones that were in that same price range. So the Louis Martini Napa Valley, and then also the Beringer Knights Valley, one of our go-tos, one of my wife's favorite and reliable Napa cabs. Trustworthy, you can go to them, and they both all scored very well. And again, that challenging vintage of 2017. So if you get a chance to check out that Wine Spectator magazine, this is a good issue, especially if you like Napa cabs, or you want to get some gifts for the holidays, and you know people who really love Napa cabs, so it's a good one to get. And one nice thing about the Wine Spectator is they'll have a section called Smart Buys, and our wine falls right within those, and so does the Beringer, and so does the Louis Martini. So the Smart Buys, I find, is a great one, because one of the things that I find kind of difficult with Wine Spectator when they, the Napa Cabs report. Well, try to find one that's under $100, right? So they have a lot of recommendations and a lot of high scores for $300 and $400 and $1,600 bottles of wine. So, the Smart Buys is kind of a nice place to go. It really is fall. So, thank you again for watching this week's episode. Thank you for sharing our channel with your friends and family, and I hope you get a chance to try a Mount Veeder Napa Valley 2017 cab. It's nice. It still doesn't disappoint, and I'm very happy to see that. Well, until next time, everyone, cheers.